Have you ever noticed how people without tattoos often get silently judged? As if having clear skin were somehow suspicious. We live in an era where the body has become a canvas, and if you don't draw on it, people assume you're hiding something. But what if it's the opposite? What if not getting a tattoo is actually a deeper form of self-expression? It's uncomfortable, isn't it? Because today, everything revolves around exposure, showing what you feel, what you believe, proving that you're free. But there's another kind of freedom nobody talks about. The freedom of not needing to show anything at all. The freedom to understand that meaning doesn't have to be carved into your skin to be real. And here's what most people completely miss. Those who don't get tattoos are also sending a message. But what they're saying isn't what you think. In the next few minutes, I'll show you the psychology behind those who choose visual silence. Those who look at the ink and say, I don't need that to know who I am. But be careful, the real reason has nothing to do with fear of needles or family tradition. Because in the end, not getting tattooed can be just as symbolic as covering your entire body in ink. And only at the end of this video will you understand what this choice really reveals about identity, control, and the human need to be seen. Let's start with something nobody likes to admit. Tattoos are not just art, they are proof. Proof that you've lived, that you've suffered, that you've changed. In a world obsessed with showing evidence of everything, from gym results to emotional healing, a tattoo becomes a visual receipt of personal experience. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Some people simply don't need that proof. For them, the memory is enough. They don't need to carve it into their bodies to know it's real. Psychologists often call this internal validation. It's when your sense of identity doesn't rely on external signs or recognition. You don't need others to see your journey because you already know where you've been. That's why some people without tattoos actually have a stronger, quieter identity than many who use ink to speak for them. And that's where the first psychological divide appears. For some, tattoos are a voice. For others, silence is the voice. Both are forms of expression, but one depends on being seen, the other doesn't. And before you think this is about superiority or pride, it's not. It's about the relationship you have with visibility. Some people define themselves by what they show. Others define themselves by what they can afford to keep private. But here's where things start to get interesting and slightly uncomfortable. Because the real reason many people avoid tattoos isn't about style, religion, or fear. It's something deeper, something that touches the very roots of control and permanence. And that's where we're heading next. Let's be honest, control is one of the deepest human desires. We want to control how we're seen, how we age, how we're remembered. A tattoo, in a way, is a rebellion against time, an attempt to freeze meaning before it fades. It's saying, this moment mattered. Don't you dare forget it. But for those who choose not to get tattooed, the psychology often flips. They live with the awareness that everything changes, and that's okay. They accept the impermanence most people spend a lifetime trying to fight. Their skin becomes a symbol of adaptability, not of emptiness. There's also something else. Something almost sacred about keeping the body untouched. For some, it's not about religion, but about integrity. A feeling that the skin itself tells enough of a story. The wrinkles, scars, sunspots, stretch marks. Those are the tattoos of life that no ink can match. And if you've ever met someone who says, I'd never tattoo my body, you might have noticed a tone, not of judgment, but of preservation. It's the instinct to keep one's essence fluid, to avoid turning a temporary feeling into something permanent. It's not fear, it's awareness. Still, there's another layer few people talk about, and it's not philosophical. It's emotional. Because for some, not marking the body comes from a deep need to stay in control when life feels uncertain. It's not about rebellion or conformity, it's about safety. But safety can cost something. And what it costs, that's the part nobody sees. Here's the part no one ever talks about, the emotional paradox of the untattooed. Because deep down, not getting a tattoo can also be a statement of pain. Some people avoid tattoos not because they don't care, but because they care too much. They fear permanence, not the pain of the needle, but the permanence of meaning. Think about it. The moment ink touches skin, it stops evolving. That symbol, that phrase, that emotion, it becomes locked in time. And for people who keep changing, that's terrifying. It's like being trapped in an old version of yourself. So they choose a different kind of courage, the courage to stay undefined. To let identity shift, breathe, and rewrite itself without needing a visible reminder. That's not emptiness. That's evolution. And yet, there's irony here. Because while many see tattoos as as acts of freedom. For some, freedom means not being marked at all. It's the refusal to let a past emotion claim permanent space on your body. It's saying, I am not a museum of my old selves. Psychologically, this often reflects what therapists call fluid identity, the ability to adapt, to grow, to not be confined by a single narrative. It's the mind saying, I don't need a mark to know who I am, because who I am keeps changing. But of course, this comes with its own cost, the risk of invisibility. Because in a world that equates being seen with existing, staying unmarked can make you look like you don't belong. And that misunderstanding is what shapes everything that comes next. So now you see, not getting a tattoo isn't the absence of expression. It's just a quieter form of it. Every choice leaves a mark, some you can see, others you can't. And maybe that's the real irony. Some people wear their stories on their skin, while others carry them beneath it. Psychologically, both sides are driven by the same human need, the desire to be understood. The difference is how they express it. Ink or no ink, we all crave meaning. We all want to leave something behind, even if that something is the decision not to leave a visible trace. So the next time you meet someone without tattoos, don't assume they're plain or afraid. They might just be the kind of person who's made peace with change, who doesn't need permanence to feel real. And if you're that person, remember, this doesn't mean you lack identity. It means your identity is alive, flexible, evolving, rewriting itself every day. In a world obsessed with leaving marks, maybe the truest statement is not marking yourself at all. Because real confidence doesn't scream, it doesn't need witnesses. It simply exists. And that's what identity beyond a mark really means. It's not about rejecting tattoos. It's about understanding that meaning doesn't need to be visible to be powerful. So whether your story is written in ink or silence, both are proof of the same thing. You were here, you lived, and you chose what your mark would be, even if it was no mark at all.